Think about the last time you book a flight, check into a hotel, or ask your bank a quick question online. Chances are the first response you got wasn't from a person, it was from a chatbot. Today, chatbots are everywhere. They become standard in airlines, hotels, banks, retail, and customer support. And this isn't just a passing trend. The global chatbot market is projected to reach around $1.5 billion this year, with analysts predicting it will keep growing by about 35% annually for the next decades.
And this growth shows that chatbots are not optional anymore. It's essential for business. Why? Because it's available 24/7. It's able to provide instant answers to the customer, which lead to help cut a cost for business. But that said, reliability and trustworthiness still remain a challenge for many chatbots today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tayakorn Gindavichu, or you can call me Jack.
And this is Warintorn Phusomsai speaking.
We are both quality engineer and thought worker from the Thailand office, and we are really excited to share you our journey into AI chatbot testing, an emerging practice that is still taking shape. In this session, we will talk about what we have learned, the challenges we face, and how we approach them along the way. To give you a clear picture of what we'll be covering today, let's walk through our agenda. First, we will explore what makes chatbot testing different, how it's not quite the same as mobile or web app. Then we will dive into testing challenges we face and the solution we came up with, followed by some lessons learned, the things we do differently next time if we have the chance. And after that, we will share a glimpse of where we see the chatbot testing space heading next, and then wrap up with a closing statement and time for a quick Q&A.
Okay, so let's start with one question. So let me ask, have you ever used chatbot and thought that was not helpful at all? Can you raise your hand if you have experienced that? Yeah, right. Thank you. And exactly that's the problem. And this failure not just annoy a customer, but sometimes they have a real cost. So consider a case of Air Canada in 2024. Their chatbot gave incorrect information to the passenger about discount. And after passenger tried to follow chatbot instruction, the airline denied the claim. So this case went to court. And at the end, the airline had to pay because they are responsible for everything that their chatbot say. And this is why chatbot testing is very important. It's essential to prevent a mistake before they reach a customer.
Unlike traditional apps, chatbot testing don't follow rigid script or predictable workflows. They rely on natural language, and natural language is messy, unpredictable, and full of variation. That unpredictability is exactly what makes testing chatbot so complex. Unlike UI testing where we have a fixed input and expected output, chatbot testing involves something deeper, the understanding of human element of language, how people phrase things differently, how the context shifts mid-conversation, and how flow change based on user type and history. Unlike traditional apps, chatbots don't follow strict script. Instead, sorry.
Okay. Before we jumping into the testing part, so let's take a step back a little bit. So to make chatbot testing effectively, we need to understand two things, how they work and how team build it. Because chatbot projects are different from other regular software projects, and that changes everything about testing. Okay, start with how it works. Different companies integrate chatbot in different ways, but overall process is quite similar. It all starts when the customer types a message. And then chatbot system will try to interpret what the customer wants, or what we call the intent, and then respond based on predefined knowledge. And depending on the framework, intent recognition can be empowered by NLU, Natural Language Understanding Model, or LLM, or can be combination of both. And in our project, we build our chatbot using NLU with mainly trained workflow and predefined knowledge base. We start with NLU as a foundation, and once we gather more data, we plan to integrate LLM to enhance our chatbot capability later. And as shown in the diagram here, this is high-level overview of how our chatbot works. Start with customer input, Let's say customer type, I want to change my flight. Then NLU will try to interpret the intent. So if the single intent is matched, like modify booking, and then the chatbot will route a conversation to the intent flow and respond based on predefined knowledge to guide customer help achieve to modify their flight. But if multiple intents are detected, say that chatbot are not sure whether customer want to cancel or reschedule the flight, and this scenario chatbot will ask the follow-up question to the customer to verify their intent again. But if there are no intent is matched, let's say customer type something vague like, I have a problem. So in this case, we will hand over the conversation to the human agent who can help solve the customer problem directly. And to the user, it will feel like a simple chat window in our app, but behind the scene, our platform manages all these steps seamlessly to ensure we return with an accurate and helpful response.
Understanding how chatbot works is only half the story. The other half, and often the harder half, is how teams organize themselves, collaborate, and adapt their ways of working to make chatbot reliable and scalable. Let's talk about the team side of the story. There are a few key areas that really shape chatbot experience. First, the team structure. Alongside the usual roles like developer, tester, and product owner, chatbot team often include a dedicated conversational designer or CXD, and sometimes an experienced designer. These roles are responsible for crafting and designing conversation flows, almost like the UX designer of the chatbot world. And second, the ways of working. Here the approach is conversation first. Instead of starting with wireframe, mock screen, the team begins with a dialogue script, intent mapping, and user journey. This makes handover from designer to developer and tester especially critical. Because the team starts with conversation and intent mapping, it's crucial that designer, developer, tester, and product owner are aligned on quality. Because each role tends to emphasize a different aspect of quality. And if those perspectives aren't meet well, they can create friction. And finally, the testing. This is the area we'll be diving deeper for the rest of today's presentation. Before that, let me quickly share a bit about how we ended up in this space. Honestly, it all started with a fire drill. We were suddenly pulled into an urgent chatbot project and had to jump in right away to ensure that it will be ready for the release in the next few weeks.
And at that point, apart from general domain knowledge, we both have no experience in chatbot testing. And we assume it would be like testing other app. It's not a big deal, right? We would be able to get on board and go live with it in a few weeks. But once we start testing, and then we quickly realize it's a completely different world. And that's where the real learning began. So what exactly was different? On the surface, testing chatbot, it sounds simple, right? You give an input, you wait for chatbot response, and validate if the response is correct or not. But in reality, it's not that straightforward. And during testing, we discovered something unique that changed on how we test chatbot. And that is, we are testing experience, not just a functionality. So when it comes to chatbot testing, it's not enough to test only its functionality or to verify only its response. But we need to also make sure that entire conversation, user for user journey works seamlessly. Because what matters to the customer is more than just getting an answer, right? But it's about getting the right answer in the way that feels seamless and helpful. And you might have questions like, what do we mean by testing experience? Okay. So we have concluded into 3 points here. First, we need to take the conversation, not just a single response. A chatbot can give a correct answer to one question. But if overall flow feels frustrating, confusing, or disjointed, that means the experience still fails. And second, we need to ensure our chatbot able to detect and interpret user intent accurately. So if our chatbot misunderstands on what customer wants, the entire journey breaks down. And the last point, we need to make sure our chatbot able to recognize the key detail of the conversation. Example like customer typing about like, I have a problem with this flight number, this booking reference. So our chatbot needs to recognize those details. And this detail can help guide a customer to achieve their goal easily. And as you can see, this practice is go beyond just testing functionality. It ensures the chatbot able to deliver a truly human-like and supportive experience.
Since chatbot brings new ways of interaction and unpredictability, these differences directly create a unique testing challenges. From our experience, these are the 4 major challenges we face with chatbot testing. To begin with, there are no best practice. Unlike web or mobile testing, there isn't a clear chatbot testing 101. We didn't have a playbook to tell us what done really look like. And we realized that it's also because of the input space is practically infinite. People phrase things so many different ways, using synonyms, shorthand, or even typos. This makes conversation unpredictable and harder to validate.
Another challenge we faced was our knowledge base is keep evolving all the time. So new flow, new intent are added all the time. For example, like originally, we trained our chatbot only for support flight booking, and later we add a new capability to support hotel booking. At that point, we need to ensure our chatbot able to differentiate between the two. When customer type, I want to book a room, it doesn't confuse with, I want to book a flight. And this kind of change can easily break the existing functionality and make the OT script data no longer valid. And that's why team need to regularly update and review the automation script to make it more up to date. And on top of all that, we also had to deal with the sensitive information. So we couldn't control how the user use our chatbot, right? Unwanted information or sensitive data might accidentally be input. And if those information got leaked, we could face a serious problem. So in overall, testing chatbot is not just like verify the chatbot give the right answer, but it needs to also dealing with infinite input, unpredictable conversation, the knowledge base that keep evolving, and need to protect sensitive data. And these challenges make our chatbot testing different from other traditional testing.
So those were the main challenges we faced as a team. Now the question is, how did we overcome them? I want to emphasize that what I'm about to share comes from our specific context. Every team is different, so while this approach might spark ideas, they may not apply exactly the same way for everyone. And later during the Q&A, we would love to hear your thoughts and suggestions as well. One of the solutions we developed was NRU testing framework. The main goal here was simple, to make sure user utterances are always mapped to the right intents. To achieve this, we built a library of test phrases based on real data in our framework, each tied to an expected intent. Whenever new flows or intents are introduced, the framework can quickly run through these test phrases and check if anything breaks. How it works is, because of a certain limitation, we couldn't use an established chatbot testing tool like Bottium or Sierra, so we built our own automation framework using Google Playwright. This framework runs all test phrases against the chatbot in parallel. But simply sending message isn't enough. We also need a way to see whether what the chatbot understands internally. That's where OData come in. OData, which stands for Open Data Protocol, is basically a standardized API service that allows us to query chatbot data live. And we can query things such as detected intent, confidence score, and response metadata. Think of it as a window to the chatbot brains. We can see what the bot thought the user meant and how confident it was. Our framework used this OData response to verify 2 things. First, whether the detected intent matched the expected one, or whether the confidence score stays above our threshold or not. If either of the check fails, it then compiles into a report and plug into the CI/CD, so that our team can review and spot overlap before it go live. And as our dataset grows, the framework automatically covers more and more scenarios. With this NRU test framework, we can create a scalable test for the future without needing to rewrite the script all the time. And we can also detect overlap intents, allowing us to catch potential issues early before they impact real customer.
So, as we mentioned earlier, one of the chatbot testing challenge is need to protect sensitive data array. So to address this, we have introduced a PII deduction mechanism in our framework. We can think of it as a firewall. Every message we pass to the regular expression filter, and the filter will automatically detect and remove the sensitive information before storing into our analytics system. And however, to make this effective, the regular expression filter must be carefully designed with guidance from experienced security team. And with this approach, we expect to deduct over 95% of sensitive data from the regular conversation. And the target is set based on the real customer inquiry pattern. The remaining 5% it will cover rare and edge case scenario. But overall, this significantly reduces a risk of exposing user data in our analytics. Okay. Although what we have done so far starts getting in shape, but if we have a chance to go back to the very beginning of the project or to advise after starting this journey, here are the 3 key suggestions we would love to share. But please keep this in mind, this is still emerging practice. We believe this idea can help speed up the process. But as technology still evolves, new principles, new best practice will continue to emerge. One of the suggestions we would love to start off with is shifting the focus from right answer to right experience. So we need to shift our mindset. Instead of asking, does the bot provide the right answer? So we should ask, does the bot provide a satisfying conversation experience? And this mindset will help us move beyond a testing for accuracy and focus on the overall quality and impact of each interaction.
Another suggestion we would like to explore is persona-driven testing. Instead of testing intent in isolation, we can define conversation based on real customer archetype. We look at their problems, background, urgency, and emotion, and use this to guide our chatbot tests. This helps us to narrow scope and make sure our testing aligns with real customer experience. For example, imagine you are a customer who just missed a flight and lost your baggage. The chatbot should be able to recognize both issues and handle urgency and respond with the right empathy. By adopting persona-driven approach, we don't just validate response, we validate the conversation experience as a whole. And the last suggestion is, we need to find the right balance between automated testing and manual testing. Automated testing is good for regression on known intents, but manual testing, on the other hand, is perfect for exploring natural conversation. You shouldn't let automated testing cover everything, because that means you are assuming all customers will use the same phrase over and over again. In reality, conversations are very unpredictable and full of surprises. That's where manual exploratory still plays a vital role.
Yeah. We have talked about what we have done, what we have learned, so now let's talk about the future. The future of chatbot testing, moving toward autonomous quality assurance, ensuring AI agents are both human-like and trustworthy. So presented here are just some emerging trends expected in coming period. First, we will see more personalized experience and content awareness. The future chatbot will understand you like a close friend. Instead of return a generic response, they will remember your preference, your communication style, and history to deliver truly tailored experience. And second, we are heading into the world of multimodal and voice-first experience. The future chatbot will be beyond text. The conversation will seamlessly blend voice, text, image together, just like a human communication.
And third, chatbots are gaining emotional intelligence. They will not only understand you, but will also understand how you feel, picking up frustration, excitement, or even confusion, and responding with the right level of empathy. And finally, in the testing space, we believe that Gen AI will play a vital role here. It can help create thousands of diverse conversation test cases at scale, creating coverage that human testers could never match their own. Before we wrap up, Remember that what we shared today is just a glimpse of our experience. There are still many challenges and interesting findings we uncovered. For example, how do we ensure a user can continue a conversation if they close the chat and return again? Or like how do we ensure a consistent experience across mobile and web where accessibility standards are different? We don't have time to go through all of them today, but we would like to leave you with 2 key takeaways. First, if you are stepping into the chatbot testing, don't just think like a developer or a tester. Think like a user who is tired, in a hurry, or even frustrated. That perspective alone will reveal more than any test script ever could. And that's why it's important to remember, building chatbot is one thing, building a good, reliable, and trustworthy chatbot is another.
Ensure chatbot testing is both reliable and trustworthy, require user-centric testing. And that's why we always say, testing chatbot isn't just testing functionality, it's testing experience. So as we conclude our talk today, we will leave you with this. A chatbot that simply works is useful, but a chatbot that truly connects is impactful. Keep that in mind as you build, test, and improve the next generation of chatbot experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all for our talk.